So we officially got screwed over by the New York State welfare system. Hey everybody, it's TheModernNative. Now, as most of you know who follow my channel, we have been struggling for quite a while. Since the pandemic hit and everything else, it's been kind of just a constant struggle. Never really gotten ourselves into a position to be able to get out of it, but we, until recently, haven't applied for assistance because we've just been trying to handle it, trying to struggle through it, and do what we needed to do to get ourselves into a better position. Now, there's a reason I've avoided going for assistance this whole time. Now, growing up on the welfare system, we didn't receive enough to actually take care of ourselves. My mom, my two sisters, and me, my mom applied for welfare because she was disabled. She couldn't qualify for actual disability, but, she couldn't work. So, growing up, we struggled, barely had enough food. Some months it was only like $100-something bucks for the four of us to have food for the whole month, and she only got like $600 in cash. And that was supposed to cover all of our bills and expenses and all of our food, but it really didn't. So, when I got older, I decided that I didn't want to apply for assistance. I didn't want to get onto the welfare system simply because I knew that every person who's on it, who doesn't really need it, puts a strain on that system, and it cuts down the benefits for other people. So, we finally got to the point where we were in one location long enough that we could apply for assistance. And my wife went down and she applied. And this is where the bullshit starts. She went down and she applied for it, did all the paperwork and everything else. She had an address from where she was staying. She was able to receive mail. Everything was working hunky-dory. She applied for the emergency food stamps. Now, that's supposed to be something that happens immediately, and then you're able to get your regular reoccurring benefits, and it's supposed to be for emergency cases like ours. We were in the middle of winter, we were homeless, and we had no food. So this was the one time where I was okay with it because we definitely needed it. And at the same time, my wife was applying for jobs and everything else. I currently can't work right now because I have to be at camp for the boys. Our dogs can't be left, camping in the woods by themselves for very long, because if someone comes through or whatever else, people might think something of the situation and try to, rescue the dogs, even though they're totally fine. But here's the thing. My wife applied for a job, and she got one. But they work directly with DSS, Department of Social Services, the welfare government agency. So they work directly with them, and what they do is if you are on Social Services and you apply to work for them and you start working for them, they don't give you your check, they send it to DSS. So DSS can take and cut that check in half, take the money that they need to pay back some of the assistance that they're giving you, and then they give you what the remainder is on your benefits card. But here's the hitch. For the past few weeks, almost a month now, my wife has been working. She hasn't been able to get a hold of her caseworker. All she gets is the answering machine. She doesn't really ever get a call back. And she's gone down and she's gone to her meetings and everything else that she's needed to do. But still, no benefits have come through. It's been going on 50 days now. No benefits have come through. No assistance has come through. We got one little bout of food stamps that, while she was there, they gave her the temporary card and pushed it through and everything else. But it was only like $100 something. It wasn't even a full month because they only gave her part of it. So, since then, we haven't gotten anything. No benefits, no services, no nothing. She also hasn't been able to get a hold of her caseworker, but she was like, whatever, I'm working, it's fine. And then she waits a couple of weeks that most businesses hold the checks, and then she talked to her manager and was like, all right, so when am I getting paid? They're like, oh, we sent your check to DSS. They dole it out when you work with us. And she's like, what are you talking about? Why can't I just get my check? Yada yada, it's the policy, whatever. But she hasn't received it. She hasn't received her check that she worked for months straight now. She's been working, and she hasn't received any benefits. So we are worse off than if we had just said fuck it and she had gone and gotten the job and started working. So all those times people were like, oh, you should just go apply for benefits and assistance so that way you can get some help. Well, really, it put us in a worse situation, and now we're fucked. We have no food, we have no money, and things are just getting much, much worse and very dangerous. Because we're asking people for help and getting everything, talking to people and friends and everything else, but there's only so much people can do. So she can't get paid. She can't get off the social service. She can't get off welfare because she can't get a hold of them to close out the account. And then she gets a letter saying that she was denied for the temporary assistance, which is the cash assistance, because she missed a meeting. But on that day and time, she was there. She was at her meeting. She did it. I remember her being there. So they're pulling some bullshit, and now we are royally fucked. This is why I don't deal with assistance and services and everything else, because what's the point? It put us in a worse situation. It made it much harder for us to be able to do the things we needed to do to get into the position we needed to be in. So I will never go through the assistance system again. I will never apply for it, put up for it, nothing. It is it's bullshit. It put us in a worse place, had us be worse. So, it's just bullshit. So, if you don't want to be fucked over, I would suggest trying to figure everything else out yourself before you go through some assistance program, because so far, it doesn't work. And all the people that are on it, who don't need to be, are just wearing down that system, making it harder for people like us to actually get onto it. But anyway, just wanted to give you guys that update and explain that situation. Till next time, get out there, be a native, go beast.